All right, guys, here we got a 96 XR250R Honda. Just picked this up on Craigslist, or not Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace the other day. Just kind of got it, checking it out. I took it apart the other night, just looking for stuff and things, and ended up getting down here. So can I get you to zoom in? There we go. I had to put it on that wide angle there. I have a very big workspace. But I got in here and just kind of checking bolts and checking some stuff and seeing what all's good and bad. Got a, where's that there? Got a crack right there, so that this cover is off, you know, safety third, we'll worry about that later. This side ended up being where the issue was. I went for a test drive on it and noticed, where is it? Right in there where the head gasket is. Oh, sorry about the glare there, guys. Right there where the head gasket, the head and the cylinder come together. And there's a little bit of a leak. So, oil leak, as in, that's after I rode it pretty hard, you know, test driving, just see what I can find on it. But, got in there, got to digging later that night, because, you know, you got to play with your new toy as soon as you get it. Started tearing it all apart, looking for loose things, and then I got to this bolt here, and you can see that wiggle in there. That one, and I think it's this one, and one of the other ones over there. Yeah, notice here the decompression lever is not hooked up. I have to get in there and mess with that. Guy who I bought it from said a lot of these bolts were stripped. I found this out later. A lot of the bolts were stripped. When he got it, he thought he fixed them. Well, it turns out he didn't, so whatever. Got it for a good price, so I'll work on it. Got to take those out. Ended up having 4 bolts, or 5. 4 bolts on the top cover, and one that's where the leak is. It's actually, here's the gasket kit. So this is the front. Right here's where that leak's coming out. I think it's just this bolt is not tight, just because it's stripped out down in here. This is the head gasket, so this is the head, you know, goes on the head. So it'll be the threads in the head. So a buddy of mine told me about helicoils, so I'm gonna try them out. This is a kit, got it from his Clutch, so it's I think that's the house brand for Northern Tool. Let's see if it's any good. Had a gift card, so that's pretty much how I decided on that. Got this online, I forget where. Moose Racing, I don't know. I think it's like Parts Giant or something. And then while I was there, I noticed, you know, it's a 96, so it's a 24-year-old bike. Decided I'd get a set of bolts for it, you know, so there's not 13 different sizes. And I haven't used it, obviously, but look at this. This buddy of mine also recommended this. 30 bucks for all of these. Stainless bolt kit. Don't know if they're any good or not, but they got some decent instructions, and don't use this, use that, whatever. You know, here's your torque specs, because stainless does different things and whatnot. So we're gonna use as many of these as we take off. We'll put them back on and replace with this. See how good it is, and see if we can get that oil leaked, and then go learn how to do something. All right, here we are about, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes later, if that. Yeah, 2 back panels, the seat. You know, I said this has been recovered. Anybody knows anything about anything? I don't really know. I mean, it's my first dirt bike, much less Honda. So there's purple underneath there. Purple there. Definitely not a factory seat or factory installed. And then where are we at here? We got purple here. So I think it's been rattle can, black, just a little bit of something. You see that? There you go, right there. So yeah, anybody got any information about colors and stuff like that? That'd be cool. I got this little thing right here, NH196 XR250R. Don't know what T means. Once again, if you know anything, feel free to let me know. Learning all this as I go here. So, things that I have learned. This, not stock, also stupid. Don't want that. These, not stock, also stupid. Those are coming off. Nonsense. There's all kinds of plastic stuff you can do on these, and it's like super cheap. Like you can get those and like a tank. Like $200 or $300, you can completely redo this bike. So actually maybe like 100. Depends on how you shop. I'm thrifty, cheap, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, it wouldn't be too bad. So to get all this off, really easy. As long as you've got an entire assortment of tools. So this is a 24-year-old bike. So this was right here's the I guess that's the number plate they call it. Like I said, new to dirt bikes. Correct me if I'm stupid. So we had that Allen wrench size, and then an 8mm, and then we had this up here, different Allen wrench size, like a 5mm or something. And then you come on this side, and we had a 12, an 8, and a 10. So you know, cover everything. Make sure that all your tools get out and get a fair share of attention. You don't want anybody to get lonely just chilling in the toolbox. So this bike is an R. An R is the non-street version. So the street version, believe both came with the headlight and the tail light. I'm not 100% certain on that, just kind of guessing from what I've seen. Got this nice little cast thing here, you know, light doohickey, not sure. Don't know what that is. Once again, hope is desired. The decompression lever was right here. It's now laying over there. If I can get the little lever down there to work, then I'll fix it. If not, it's going to stay right there. Maybe in a box up there later. So you see here, there's the kill switch has problems. I know that. Have to look into that a little bit there. I imagine there's probably just a bad ground, or where's that? Right there. Just grounds there. Cables. I don't know. We'll tinker with that later. It's not the best wiring job. Definitely a little hacked. So that made me think, why is it kind of hacked? Why is this stuff all like this? And then I was like, ooh, somebody who's not an idiot worked on this. This has been labeled. And it's got all kinds of information on here. So it was, this main thing over here was like out here. So I unplugged them, but since they were beautifully marked, I mean, this is old and oily, but still, like, that's, somebody cares. And I saw these letters, I thought it was like round, and then you got an H over here, so it's hot. Nope, that's incorrect. It's A through H. Far less exciting than I thought. So, all of these wires, I tried to tuck them in right here. It's got this little wire tie. I'm going to fix all that once I get a little better into this, tidy that up. I don't like nonsense like that. But you notice there's a loose wire right here too, and I was like, what's going on here? That wire dead ends right there. Oh, wow, it's dirty under here. So, I'm trying to figure out what in the world's going on. There's been something screwed here. I think, which it says, where is that? Somewhere up there. There's the bin tag, and it does actually say R on it, so I believe this is an R. But the L was the street legal version, the street legal able whatever version. This has a, somebody knows how to open this up, that'd be awesome to tell me too. You got to kind of give it a tap with it leaning. Otherwise the dummy light thing comes over here, and then anything over like 45 is just you know, whatever. I thought this was kind of cool since we're right here looking at it. Got these nice little numbers so you know what gear you're supposed to be in. Fun way to test if your clutch is going bad, which this one isn't terrible, but you put it in 5th gear right about here and just hammer on it, yeah, you'll find out if that clutch is slipping a little bit. So that's what it did. That's what I found out. But I'm not worried about it. Like, that's super cheap and definitely not ready to be done right now. That's down the line. You beat on it, that's not going to be perfect, but we're not going to beat on it all the time, maybe, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so I think somebody in the past has tried to convert this to an L, a street legal version. But not 100% certain. You can see she's been worked on right here. Don't know of any other work. This, whatever you call that right there, little plug, that has been taken out. I assume it probably has something to do with why this is boogered up. She's been worked on by an unqualified mechanic. You see how that bolt's not straight? Yeah, that bolts are supposed to be straight. That one's missing. So somebody's been down here doing some stuff. This was missing. I threw that bolt in there because you know, it's not real good when your Kickstarter falls off, especially when you don't have anything. Electric start, you know. This cable, I adjusted on it. Which, by the way, I'm kind of just covering some stuff that I've done to this as I'm looking around here, thinking. A little bit scatterbrained, but whatever. adjusted on that because the clutch, let's see if I can reach over here. It was about, that was, you know, clutch pulled and about right there to there. Like that was no go. That was, you know, standing up on the rear tire. So like, not super fun. Now, it was also super loose, but now like I'm, you know, that's put tension on it. It's right there. So let's hope that, you know, did some stuff. This was super maxed out. I think somebody worked on it. They just didn't realize that you can adjust here also. So they messed with this one and, you know, whatever. Not a big deal. Back to what we were doing. So I got the new 2 number plates off. These bolts right here, when they come off, your seat just kind of slides out of there. Has 2 little hooks on the bottom of the seat that hook under right here. So when you put it back on, you'll, I know, sit there. This was loose. Didn't know what it was. Looked on the, was it Honda Parts House? They have some really good diagrams. It's like engine diagrams and stuff. So I'm definitely going to have those. I've screenshotted them so I can use them to make sure I get the right bolt sizes and drill the right holes. But this thing, maybe, does it go like this? I don't know. It does something. It hooks one way or another on a bolt hole up on the tank. So that's your third mounting point for your tank. Your first 2 are right here. It's got little rubber mounts. I think they were 8 millimeters. 1 on either side. Of course, you know, different bolts for mine, but whatever. Made it work. That's pretty much all I've done. Kind of skipped around there, but you know, I got 3 bolts, 2, you know, 1, 2, and that should have been 1, but it's not. And that's it. Like, that's all. This is lovely working on old bikes because everything comes off with nothing except 17 different sockets. See, so far I have gotten out 2 Allens, a deep socket, 4 standard sockets, and I think that was it so far. So, you know, only took 7 things to get like 3, 6, 7, 8 bolts off. 7 different fasteners for 8 different bolts. Lovely. But now you get a better sense here, whatever. I'm kind of yammering, so I'll get off of here. Next, I'll pull this off. That's also another one of our problems. That's supposed to use a wrench. Not your finger. Yeah, somebody knew that up. Anyway, here we go. We're going to start taking, that's already been removed for us. That one, this one, here. We're just going to take everything off that holds this top cover on. We're going to take the 3 bolts off that do the carb. All right, guys, I'm getting you zoomed in here. So I got all the bolts off, and as soon as I went to pull this up, I was like, hey, they might want to see this. So all I've done is just kind of popped it up, which, by the way, you see this, yeah, there's oil everywhere. Put my little rag down here. So the other night when I took this off, oops, I took that spark plug wire up there out of the way. This top bolt does not come out, which, remember that. We'll see if I forget here in a minute. And then the bolt over here on this other side, back over here, under the decompression lever, that one won't come out either, mainly because that lever doesn't move. I'm not really sure about that yet. But just pick up on it, just kind of give it a little jiggle there. And tilt it back just some, roll it out, and there you go. Hopefully you can see that there. Don't use these washers, you know, the rubber liquid washers. Don't use that stuff. I'll just clean all that up here in a minute. But there's what the inside looks like. You can see all your valve. Those little, you know, doohickeys. Pain in the butt to get back in, so you're gonna have to pull these tops off. I did learn when I took it off the night. You got to pull these off, so that sucks. And now that I've done it, I actually remember you should have taken them off before you undid all the bolts. But that's all right. We'll figure it out later. Okay, so totally forgot about this little trick here. And when I forgot about it, I mean, I hadn't come up with it necessarily entirely yet. I thought about it, but I haven't done it. Didn't do it twice, maybe not. Make sure you have the gasket laying the right side up, but I got a little wooden table here. Perfect for drawing on, and I don't really care. Trace your gasket, roughly. Put your dot for all your holes. So then it can be like, oh yeah, that hole right there, that's where this bolt came out of. Because as you see, if you can see, Some of them are different sizes, different lengths, you know, whatever. So this one, actually, I'll show you what to do here, because that one right there is stripped. Along with that one, one more, and I guess I forgot one. I think it's this one. I got some pictures on my phone. I have to get those out and make sure I'm doing the right ones. But you see we're missing this bolt, and that one. It's this one. Won't come up because of that, so you know I could probably get it out, but I don't really want to mess with it. So I have to figure out how this works too. This decompression lever thing in here rotates, does something with that little pin down there. See, it's got a little flat spot on the end of that pin, and it contacts the edge of right there. So I'm guessing what it does is it twists, pushes this down, and I'm going to guess that this is, let's see, it's that one. So it'd be the right front. I mean, I'm no professional here, but I'm going to guess that's probably an exhaust port. And that just lets all the compression out. You know, you start it, it just happens to be right on a compression stroke, and it does. So, you know, you're not standing on the side of a hill trying to kick all the way against the full force of it. But we'll figure that out. I might phone a friend on that one. But here's what you got here. You know, just straightforward, just mess. This gasket here is actually perfectly fine, and then if you don't pay attention and you're kind of irritated because you just bought something and it's already kind of broken, you end up like me. Sorry, I've got oil everywhere here. I'm trying to wipe my hands off. You take all this off, get frustrated, put it all back on, realize you forgot that top bolt there, so you take it all back off, put it all back together with that bolt on, and then you realize, oh, those little levers have to sit on top of here, and then the rocker sits on top of that. So you take it all back off, and then you put it all back on, and then you realize you forgot a different bolt. So you take it all back off, and then you put it all back on. And this is at the end of a day where I had started the day extra early, you know, like 6 o'clock or something. And we were at about midnight at that point, so, you know, I was frustrated. I was saying some things, doing some stuff. Yeah, not happy. So one of the things I did was it stuck coming off on like the 4th time, and it's ripped. So that's all right. Top end kit, it all comes together anyway. It's like 20 bucks, 30 bucks something. It's pretty cheap for the whole kit, so smart idea. Let's make sure they match. Does appear to be so. Yeah, okay. Oh, crap. Sorry, tripped on y'all's stand there. So this is the bolt that, you know, I got in here and I'm like, oh, that's a little wiggly. That's probably why it's leaking. Well, I was correct. And as I tightened it, I snug. It wouldn't get snug, and I kept trying and trying. And I'm like, don't think there's a nut spinning on this, so that's not good. So, as you can see here, the head bolts, well, there's one. I believe there's supposed to be one down there, maybe something. I don't know. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, and I think, oh, there's a 4th one right there. That one seems to be good and snug. This one's good and snug. Those didn't know existed till, like I said, that HondaPartsHouse.com. Didn't buy anything from them, mainly because I'm cheap and they're real high dollar. They're proud of their stuff, which is probably fine. It's all OEM stuff, so, you know, whatever. I'm just not that kind of guy sometimes. This is one of those times. Oh, yeah, look at there. That's fun, too. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't even know that before. Yeah, we're going to snug that little doohickey back up. I'll bet you there's more down there. One thing that I am just now remembering, definitely supposed to put this at top dead center first. So I think that means all the lobes should be pointing roughly down, but we'll do that next. That'll be done by pull this plug out, and I don't know, I'll try this. I don't know if it's a plug. I think it's just a cover. So I'll take this cover off, and there should be a nut in there near the crank. Take this off so you can see. You look in there, it's a little, I guess it's technically the flywheel. I don't know, not everybody got it. But assuming it has the flywheel there, there's a little notch on it, and then there's a notch on the inside of this hole. I'll show you when I get in there, but line that up should be top dead center. If my internet doesn't lie to me, which, you know, the internet never lies, then all these lobes should be roughly pointing down. That makes sense because, you know, the lifters would be up here. That should be TDC. And over there on that wheel, there should be 2 notches. They'll be flat with the deck. That means you're in time. You can take things apart and do stuff. So get back to you when we get to there. Alrighty then. So there has been a development. Should I just leave that there for a second? There we go. We got this little part. Let me down here. As I'd pointed out, the 4 bolts were right where we expected for the head. Where'd that cover go? Oh, no, it's over here. Never mind. I was looking for the head. Get to that in a minute. So here's the head, front, there's spark plug. You'll figure it out. Don't know what that is. Someone has definitely been in here. Most definitely. She has been worked on. Now, we can either be upset about that, or we can just say, you know what, that's a little bit of extra room for oil, so we can have extra. Joking very much there. Very crunchy. Some places we definitely gonna get that. Ooh, look at that. That is. Yeah, can you see all that? That's just goo. I don't think it's see there. No, there's no. It doesn't feel very metally. Might be, but it just seems like some old sludge. But yeah, so you got this bolt, this one, which we'll talk about, and this one. Don't know if I said it a while ago or not. Want to make sure you don't drop that chain. I did a whole bunch of zip ties. Actually tied it up here until I got all the head bolts loose and I could get it up and going, because that one was the one over there that we'll talk about in a second. It was really hard to come out. He moved, I don't know, about 3 or 4 turns, and then all of a sudden it got kind of stiff, and I'd run it back in there a little bit and run it back out. Like, I could definitely tell something was happening with the threads. Not good. But so there was a bolt back here. You take this little thingy off here. 4 bolts came off real easy off the front of the head, which obviously we have figured out now that it has been in before, so those weren't too bad. First time ever coming off, they might suck a little, but they'll come. Little PB blaster or something. So you might wonder, what do some wire cutters and needle nose and vice grips have to do with taking a bolt out? Well, apparently this has been helicoiled in the past. This is why it was not wanting to come off very well. This is what you call chingalade. Yeah, it's supposed to look like that. Does not. Guessing it's a 10. Yeah. A little before and after there for you. Not good. Hopefully we're not in trouble now. That could be bad. That you know what, maybe we'll do like what the other guys did and put some RTV on there and just send it. Be all right. Probably we'll figure it out. So, head gasket. Well, I'm going to say it's probably new, because if you notice, that's normal. That's, junk on it. This, where are you? Home page. This definitely looks new. Yeah, I'm going to say those have been replaced on. That spark plug. That would explain why there's so much crap that's loose in here. It's really blowing my mind. Like, there's so much stuff that's loose. We're going to clean this off. Then we're going to figure out, hopefully, get straight enough down here, which I think so. And we have to re-drill it. I don't know. Definitely gonna phone a friend on this one. That if it's helicoiled, I can't see, but if it was definitely helicoiled. If the threads, I don't know if you can see down in there, they're a good solid maybe. But these bikes, we'll point out, I've heard from everybody, XR250Rs, indestructible. Turns out they mean by like the trail and riding hard. They don't mean by incompetent mechanics. Those things, no. This is like, hot butter, and they're coming at it with a mallet. It's just not gonna work well. So also slide this forward. That bolt, I said was crooked. Crooked bolts typically don't really come out. So I don't want to mess with it, so we got this. Took this bolt out here. It's a little 12 millimeter. Looked rusty as hell, but came right off. Maybe it's been off. I don't know. Whatever. Then I get this, redneck thing here. You just kind of hook it. So the routing is important. You have to come here. You see it goes back and then comes out, so it pulls this out. Pulling this out pivots down here on this nonsense, pulls it away and lets you get it out, because otherwise your little bolts are going to want to hang right here. And it's interesting. The two little bolts right here took this off because this little cover wants to stick over in the fins and be a pain. But you know, other than that, like it wasn't bad. It was very easy. So I'm gonna go see if I can figure out this helicoil thing, this existing one, and then we'll start the process of putting it all back together. Alrighty, adventure number 1 complete. Actually, it wasn't that bad at all. Make sure that's not hung up there. Yeah. We got to this point here now. We're gonna hit helicoil this bolt here. Super easy process. If you ever need to do it, like, just don't be afraid of it at all. I mean, I'm also saying this is aluminum, and I'm sure that's made for steel, but hey, it's good. Using this because it's what I got. Also got some anti-seize I'm gonna put on here too for the bolts. That's stainless stuff, but thread locker and the steel stuff, which would be the coils. Put the coils back in there. So I did that bolt, which, you know, it's down in there. It's in the actual cylinder itself. And I went ahead and did this one. So this one's done, that one's done. This one was just kind of nasty, like real nasty. So I just ran a tap down through there and cleaned it out. Be real careful, make sure it's straight, but I mean, a little in, a little out, you know, like a turn in, just a little kickback, just work it off in there. So it went in pretty good. So actually I could just bolt down right here, let's see. Yeah, all right, I guess that's gonna work. I guess a long ways to go in there, but whatever. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put this stuff in, put some anti-seize on this, some of the other things, put these 4 bolts back in, and then just start assembling the cam. Good news, didn't drop this. That was great. Make sure you cover up this hole too. Well, it's in the head, but cover up this slot. Don't get any crap in there. Just jam some rags in there, make sure nothing's gonna get in. I'm personally a fan of using chop towels. Chop towels don't have any lint, little strings, and well, here, that's what I'm wiping my hands on. All this little stuff here will get hung in there. You get that crap in your oil, can't be good. Clean up the head, a little bit of scrubbing, scratching, clean up the valves a little bit. So, all right, that's a good update for now. I'm gonna put these 4 head bolts in, and then we'll start. I'll actually show some helicoils for doing these top ones. Should be 4 more. Well, some things have transpired. Didn't have the camera going. We had a bit of a time. And if I recall correctly, because it has been, sit up a chair and talk to you for a second. Has been a minute. None of this was there. That was, yeah, for you, half a second ago. For me, it was like, I don't know, 6 hours ago. Turns out, after a whole lot of issue, I went to put the head back on. And this first coil, this head bolt, which, don't mind this is temporary. We'll get to that in a second. That one, down in the block, was the one that was messed up. And I'm guessing, I'm just guessing here. That coil was done, I don't know, it did something weird. I had to thread it and re-thread it and take it back out and put a coil in and take it back out. And I went, before I even remembered to actually coil all the bolts here for the cover, I got started and put the head back on. This bolt and this bolt. Well, this bolt didn't want to go. So I was like, well, hold on. What's going on? Called a buddy. I'm like, hey, you've used these things before. What are the odds that something weird's happening? This is obviously my first one. Let's take it off and check it. So I took everything back off, which at the time was just 2 bolts. And just finagling with this nonsense here because you got to feed it up through every time. And remember, you got to do the gasket too. Almost forgot that. So you also have to feed the gasket, the chain through the gasket, and then feed the head through the gasket, and then tie it up there. So, kept trying, deliberating, trying to figure out what's going on. Can't figure out what's going on. Turns out, I think the bolt was the wrong size. So, ran to the store, took the tap, took the coil, and took the original head bolt. I was like, look, screwed the coil onto the end of the bolt. And I said, hey, look at here. I need this little thing to go onto here. Need the bolt. My plan was to just use the threads that had been done already for the helicoil and just run a bolt into them. Drill this out a little bigger, be good to go. Well, I got there. Scooter at the hardware store was helping me, so I forgot the bolt, ran back outside. So he took the time while I was running outside, and he found the right size and everything. And he's like, oh, okay, you need this length? And I'm like, sweet. Oddly, he said it was a coarse or a fine thread 1/2 inch. So like, it's an M10 tap, but okay, whatever. He showed me, it fit. I believe him. Well, I get back home. Of course, they closed in like 2 minutes after I left. I get back home, it don't fit. It is not a coarse 1/2 inch. But I bought the bolt. I have a plan. The plan seems to be working. I can drill this hole out. Should be all fine. I don't know if you can see down there. So you got plenty of material. All good to go. So I committed. I took the thread or the tap for a out of my set for the 1/2 inch 20, and I went for it. Yeah, didn't think about the bolt head size here. You notice that it can't fit all the way down in there. It almost can. Like, it can wiggle down in there, but not with a socket on it. And it's gonna actually probably hang over just a hair right there, but that'll be inside of the little chain loop, so that's not a big deal. Yeah, that was an issue. All right, I figured if I was going to make you listen to me, you might as well look at me. That's worth it. It's probably going to make you turn off right now. Anyway, so my plan: take that 1/2 inch bolt, run it through there. That gone. All right, we commit. Put in the bigger threads. Run the bolt down. Figure out the socket issue. So, what do we do now? I've already committed to the threads, committed to the 1/2 inch. We're putting a 1/2 inch 20 bolt in there one way or another. Hopefully we can go back to the hardware store, which tomorrow's a Sunday, so that'll end up being noon before they open, maybe. We'll see. Gonna put that in there as a hex, machine bolt, whatever it's called, hex head. That way, hopefully it's much smaller, accessible from the top. Should hopefully be doable. Now that I think about it, I better make sure that I have a big enough size for that to work. If not, well, I guess I could do it by hand. I have full set Allen wrenches. Anyway, so I kind of committed. I know that bolt's long enough. I went ahead and threaded it in so that I can make sure I got my threads right and everything drilled straight and it'll line up. It will line up, obviously. Went ahead and put the other 3 head bolts in and torqued them. I actually had the torque wrench out. Turns out don't have a 12mm and 1/2 inch drive. So ended up just kind of giving a little, I mean, if you think about it, 30 foot-pounds is what I went with. 30 foot-pounds, well, you got 8 inches on a ratchet. That's 2/3 of a foot. So you got to give it a little extra, because if it was at a foot, you push 30 pounds, magically push right there. You can guess about what 30 pounds is, ish. Bargain if you have to. But it's like, okay, you got to give it a little extra, 2/3 to here. Do the little math, and it's about a 3/4 of an ooga-dooga if you really want to get technical with it. But put that in there, got them all on. Nothing seems to have broke yet. Here, I can turn you back around. All right, so stopped some of the rambling here. We put that in, that in, that in. This is temporarily in, just to line everything up. It's going to come out tomorrow. We'll go find the bolt from the hardware store, hopefully. If not, we'll find it however, internet. Put these 2 in. This one was the original problem. Why is this so hard? There we go. This one is the original problem here. Coiled it. This one I ran a tap through just to make sure it was clean and straight and good. Both of them I ended up, just because the holes were kind of nasty, and I ran them down and they would touch, like right as they went to touch here, or maybe just washer thickness away, it felt like they were hitting bottoming out or something. So went ahead and just cut about a 1/4 inch off of them, both of them, kind of rounded them off, and then ran a tap back on them just to make sure they were good and clean. And went ahead and put them in. Let's see what else we got here. Went ahead and reinstalled this, just these 2 bolts. This little thing, this little C pops on there. Put the carb back on, put the this bolt back on. Put this back on. There was some rigging done to this. Unrigged this, but since I had the taps out, went ahead and just here they go and fix that the almost right way. Just don't mind the spacers and the different size bolts. I mean, everything on here is different anyway, so might as well run with it. What else? That's just about it. Since I'm bored and just kind of wanted to win because I've gotten my butt handed to me today, went ahead and worked on the brakes. Rear brake wouldn't lock up, at least not on the pavement doing 50, but I could feel it was hitting down here. So we kind of decided, okay, there's some play there. Maybe that bushing. I was like, yeah, actually I haven't even checked. Let's look in here. Well, that sucker it wasn't dry, it was moist. So yeah, we filled that back up. Gave her a little bleed. She's still kind of bleeding-ish on the ground there. It's really hard to bleed this by hand. It's totally different. I mean, it's the same as a vehicle, but it just feels weird and different. So we'll see if that worked. Adjusted on the this clutch cable. Just give it just a hair of loose right here. Try to get that feeling good. Worked on this a little bit. For some reason, they had a hose clamp. Let's see if I get it. They had a hose clamp on here and this clamp. This clamp was up here. This is a very simple, just, squeeze it together with a pair of pliers clamp. They had, I mean, it's idiot proof, you would think. But as previously mentioned, an idiot may have worked on this in the past. So I cleaned all this up because it was all fuzzy and hairy. And I know it's a junk old bike, but little things here and there. We use zip ties in interesting places. But then we'll make this pretty. And then we'll use something else, it's whatever. You got to blend it. Going half-ass means you get to no-ass some of it and full-ass the other part. Then it turns out to half-ass, and half-ass is good enough for right now. At least on a 24-year-old bike. That's about all I got for you. I'll come back tomorrow. All of these holes I have tested. I put the new little alloy or stainless bolt in there. All seems to be good. So the plan, probably next time you see me, I'll go ahead and do it. We'll pull this out, go to the store, get the new bolt, pull this out, put the new bolt in, torque that down. I'll put the gasket on, put all the bolts on, and come back and tell you if I had any issues. But I think we should be good. Oh, wait, I got to put the cam in. Yeah, that's useful. Yeah. We'll get back to you once that's all in there. I may or may not. If I find anything any interesting or want to show you something about the cam, if it's more than just pretty obvious, then I'll give you some tips. If not, I'll show you when we're done. Probably ramble for a little longer. All right, in the middle of this right here, came up with a solution for the bolt. Hopefully you can see right here. I got you zoomed in pretty far. I, of course, had to put the bolt in. I'm on my lunch break right now, and decided, hey, let's come out here and throw this in because it'll only take 2 seconds, right? Well, so to get the chain tension off of this thing, I figured out a little thing to do here. Actually makes it where you can adjust it, because once you get it set, which is kind of difficult, you have to pop the gear back up onto it then. Unless you know how to do this. I don't know how to take the tension off. There might be an easy way. I might look like an idiot. But I found, take this little pick thing here, stick it in the hole very lightly. Don't mess up the threads. Be gentle. Push the, I went ahead and turned it just a little bit. I rotated the crank with the wrench over there. I don't know if y'all can see me there, pointing, on the flywheel. So you get it in there. You can reach around. Just kind of using this poker to hold it still. Be gentle, be easy. Once you get it up on top like that, then you can slide it on there. Oh, well, I was using this to wiggle it just a second ago, so that's about the 4th time I've done this. And very carefully, without dropping it, and with Loctite on it, put a bolt in. And snug for now. I snugged up the first time. Of course, you didn't need to, because you're gonna have to redo it 5 times. And then you sit right down here, even with the deck. Get those two lines lined up. Let's see, take you over here now. Now that you know you set it up there, your lobes are down, so you're good there. I actually did notice that my cam gear was on backwards too, you know, because that's awesome. It even has the side that says out. If only that would tell you which side was out. Now we check. Oh, you can see the T there. Oh, we're a little off. Hold on. Let's see if I can I'll set you down so you can watch, but I'm kind of needing to just mess with this on my own right now. There you go. What I do here. So there's an F and a T. I finally figured out what those are both for. Right. Oh, she didn't fall off. That right there. It's pretty close, so I'm hoping that's it. I don't think it'd be a tooth off, but we'll see. Oops, sorry about that. Hope I'm shining light at you. Well, it's not perfect. If you can see, I'm trying to line up this flat plate with that line and this with that line, which of course, gotta get down here, it's a hair off. There you go, you can see it. So, let me see here. I thought they're supposed to be lined up. Maybe I'm wrong though. Let me get, don't do that, but drop the wrench over there. Yeah, of course I can't turn it, but that's almost there. Let's see exactly what it's doing over here. I mean, we're so close. Oh, sorry, I'm not having you look there. So close. I'll put this back on there and take her back just a little. So I go to F. So F is supposedly where it fires, which should be close. Obviously, they're real close together, those two marks. Yeah, so F means it fires a little before TDC. I don't know, maybe these things have a timing advance on them. See the process there? I just actually had it one tooth off, and then I ran through the whole process, and then made it two teeth off because I did it backwards in my head there. But it's just that same thing over and over. I'm gonna check on that timing and make sure I'm right, and then may or may not come back to you. I'm not sure. I gotta go back in. Just I got work to do, you know, so I can find more parts. But catch you later. Well, she's back together. Got a little bit of oil in places and things. But that'll burn off. Kind of made a mess when I was topping it back off. Already. Well, I don't even remember where I was now. It's been like a week. It was an adventure. Stripped out a tank bolt, put it back on. Luckily was able to drill that bolt out and rethread it, and it was good. Put the correct bolt back in there. Everything else went together pretty good. Turns out that bolt right there is barely hanging on by about a half a thread. Just needs to be a little bit longer. I'm not really sure exactly what happened there. I think maybe I put the coil a little deep and just the standard bolt isn't quite enough. But I mean, I took the washer off and it'll actually catch ever so slightly. So it's just finger snugged in there until I can get a little bit longer bolt. But other than that, had a learning lesson. Turns out this is a dry sump. You know, all the oil is, if I can show you, The oil is, this is the tank here. It goes down into the frame, all the way down. Crap. Sorry, I can't really get to it there. Yeah, you can't see anything. You can kind of see the drain plug sticking out there. But anyway, gave her the change on the old oil there, and actually, hold on, I'll be right back. All right, had to dig this out of the trash there. So, you want to look around in there, see if I can get it to focus. It's so cute and sparkly, especially right there. It's hard to see. There's a lot of aluminum in here. Good amount. So, I really hope what that is that, sorry here, OCD. Anyway, crap. I'm gonna hope that really all that is just, you know, we did all this nonsense up here, and I had the die grinder out knocking out some of those little rough spots in that head, or that whoever had done what in there. Between that, and I hopefully had the chain hole covered up, I mean. So, I don't know. I'm really hoping it's just all that. Oh, and considering, I think I showed you the cam gear was put on backwards, and not only put on backwards, it was loose, so it was touching the side of the head cover and the head. So it's just enough to, I mean, I can very distinctly, clearly see it. So I'm assuming that all those shavings are somewhere, hopefully all in that filter right now. But put a brand new filter in there, brand new oil. Let her run for, I don't know, maybe an hour. Probably wasn't an hour, probably about 30 minutes of run time, if that. Kind of just rode it around the yard, rode up down the street a little bit. Then I changed on the filter, so hopefully that was stirring everything up. Got it into the filter, pulled the filter out, put a new filter in, new oil in, and I just ordered, just because I want to be safe with that, I went ahead and ordered a 4-pack because they're $5 and I don't really care. You know, cheap filter, just I'm going to do about, well, I got 4 of them, so I'm going to do 4 oil changes here in the next, not very long. Probably just run it. Like tonight I ran it about, actually ended up putting about a quarter mile on it according to the odometer up there, which I do have. Put about a quarter mile on it this morning in the backyard, which that's pretty small. So I was working on my turning and getting just a little feel for the bike and shifting and everything like that. I kind of got used to the lean, a little bit grabbing. This is actually, I mean, I'm just wearing shorts, but that's pretty sticky. I don't know if it's supposed to be or not, but you can really grab onto that pretty nice. So I'm pretty happy with that. But overall, I still need to adjust the chain sliders on there. That's a UFO chain slider. That's what they call it, that brand. We'll see how she holds up. It's kind of hard to see. Sorry about that. Just forgot to do a closing video, so I'm just trying to tell y'all everything I've done since I got a little irritated and just ran with it the other day. But we'll see. I adjusted on the reverse lever, or not reverse, the rear brake lever. It's got a lot of slop in it. Also found out that this here has been, see if you can see that, permanently adjusted. So it's a little high. We may or may not have to get the heat out and work on that a little bit, but get you back zoomed in there so you can see it now. Oh yeah. Yeah, you see that? That's what they call JB weld without the JB part. Anyway, and then there's one in the back too. See, if it's right here, you can just grind it off and do whatever. But right back there on the back, trying to get the shadow. There's a bead, or we'll call it a bead. Good fat tack. So that'll be fun. Hopefully we'll just let it run. I'm gonna try to get some riding boots, and maybe the thick boots will be all right. I'm doing it in tennis shoes. Flip-flops, definitely a no. That was rather rough. Tennis shoes, not too bad. Just kind of put it up on the bridge of my foot, or arch of my foot, whatever, I guess the bridge, I don't know, the top hump. That thing. Put it there. Worked out all right. Put, like I said, put a quarter mile on it this afternoon in the yard, and those filters should be here tomorrow, and I'll grab some oil. Just some old 15W40 Rotella. We'll see how that goes. But that's about it. Right now I'm working on this little thing. Turns out it was no good. Well, according to whoever. I'll check it out. You know, cheapest pair of gloves I could find. Why not? Because usually not that guy, but you know, whatever. It's fun. Oh yeah. Corny as could be. Anyway, so I took this apart, figured out what is that. All right, that's just a little springy switch there. See if I can. As you push it down, just a spring in there. So look at that. This screws onto the back there. Then I look here and I was like, okay, that's just a little dot. That little pokey thing is supposed to hit that little doodad. Ought to be easy enough. First off, hold this in your hand and trying to touch it and work it, actuate it. Terrible idea. It's like grabbing a spark plug. Real stupid. Learned real fast. That's just not. So don't do that. So I'm starting to bike up and doing whatever. What I was trying to do, actually, I think this is a horn. This, we've already figured out that this is some nonsense. But swap these out so I get my lever over here. Got a little bit better angle there. Do have that adjusted decently now. It's usable. The light is surprisingly terrible, but surprisingly works. I drove around in the yard at night. It was pretty nice. But I think this was a horn. Let me see. I think that just is some Chinese writing there. Either that or it's a horn, or I don't know. But I was like, that'd be pretty cool if I could make that into the kill switch. Tried hooking up to the wire. Turns out it doesn't work. You jump that wire straight to the this other one, to the ground. I think it's immediately grounded. I'm not real sure what's going on with that. So we're just gonna rig it up here. I already kind of tested this. This is when I got the camera out. I was like, oh, I'll show you. Just found these little pieces of rubber here. I don't know, what is that? About a thickness of maybe a nickel. I got 2 of them just to be a little safe. I'm gonna stick those basically against the bar. I'm gonna put that little electric disc on there, and then I'm gonna put this on top of it like it's supposed to go, and then hook all this back together. I think it's gonna work. Basically, I think the little disc, this thing was just too far away. So, awesome. But anyway, I think this video is probably getting pretty long, so I'm just gonna do that. It's pretty simple, pretty easy to do, and we'll stick it back up here and run with it. We'll see where she goes next, see if she keeps making some weird noises or smoking. Oh, she just stopped smoking, so that's good. But a little bit of chatter. I keep thinking there's some little dinging noise. I'm starting to think now it's this little doohickey here is I didn't hear that. It's just kind of making some noise. I think it's just hitting stuff like that, but whatever. Oh yeah, I had to put a governor spring off of a Harbor Freight motor. That little motor over there, actually, because it didn't have a return. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, back up. There we go. Did not have a return spring for this brake. And I was noticing when I was rolling it in neutral, I could hear a little howling back here. So we got that rigged up. We're not going to say fixed. We got that rigged up real decent. And what I said, guys, no ass some places, full ass other places. We'll end up with a half ass. Be all right. But that's it, guys. I'm going to get off of here. It's probably like an 1.5-hour video by now, so we'll just cut it and we'll see you next. Let me know if anybody wants to see that. I kind of built that one weekend and it's real fun. It's like awesome. So, all right. Anyway, bye. Thank you.